Good afternoon, this is Gabriel Jackson, and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day, number 5, using Sefer HaChinuch, the book of the Mitzvahs, which go according to the Parshas. And we got through number 4, the obligation to sanctify Rosh Chodesh. Our new mitzvah, the obligation to slaughter the Pesach offering. Again, not relevant until, God willing, we have that temple rebuilt. But once again, these are all mitzvahs in Parshas Bo, a total of 20 mitzvahs. We're up to the second one. Out of those 20, there are 9 positive commandments and 11 negative. So here we go. The obligation to slaughter the Pesach offering. We are commanded to slaughter on the afternoon of the 14th day of Nisan either a lamb or a kid, a goat, that is an unblemished male in its first year, in the chosen house, meaning the holy temple. And this is called the Pesach offering. We are so commanded as it is stated, the entire congregation of the Assembly of Israel shall slaughter it in the afternoon. The HaChinuch, which is the author again, describes how the mitzvah is performed. The description of how this mitzvah is fulfilled is that the people of Israel gather into small groups, and they either acquire from the market or take from their homes for each group one kid or lamb that is an unblemished male in its first year. Then they proceed to slaughter it in the courtyard of the holy temple on the afternoon of the 14th of Nisan, right before Pesach night. Afterward, in the evening, they eat it among themselves after having finished their other food, right? So when we had the temple, during Seder night, you'd have to have this Paschal lamb. Now we don't. We're specifically not supposed to. But that's why we do the Zecher, the remembrance. But in the time when we had the temple, that's what we're supposed to do. For the law of the Pesach requires one to eat it when one is already sated, right? And he talks about it a little more in the footnotes. Okay. The underlying purpose of the mitzvah. Among the underlying purposes of this mitzvah is that the Jews should recall for all time the great miracles that Hashem, blessed be He, performed for them at the time of the exodus from Egypt. The laws of the mitzvah. The laws of this mitzvah include, for example, when is the correct time of day for slaughtering the offering, and that it is to be slaughtered in the temple courtyard in 3 separate shifts. They include also the rule that we set aside the Sabbath restrictions for its fulfillment, meaning if Passover falls on Friday night, or even at the time Saturday night, right? So then you'd still do this in order to have the Pesach offering Saturday night, right? So again, they include also the rule that we set aside the Sabbath restrictions for its fulfillment, as well as the laws of its registrants, meaning the rule that one must register on a Pesach offering in advance, and the details of this process. They further include the rules of reciting Hallel upon making the offering, and of sounding trumpets during its performance. These laws and the additional details of this mitzvah are elaborated in Tractate Pesachim, chapters 5 to 9. Applicability of the mitzvah. The mitzvah is applicable to both men and women in the time of the temple, when it is standing. When it transgresses the mitzvah intentionally and does not make the Pesach offering, is liable to chorus, excision. We talked about that, either being spiritually cut off from the world to come, God forbid dying young, before 60, or God forbid losing children in his lifetime. We don't want that. That's called chorus. Nevertheless, if one transgresses it unintentionally, he does not bring a chatas offering, a sin offering, for this is one of the 3 sins whose intentional violation subjects one to chorus, intentionally being cut off, but whose unintentional violation does not subject one to a chatas offering, a sin offering. These 3 sins are this one, again, the mitzvah to sacrifice the Pesach offering, blaspheming the name, and violating the requirement of circumcision. Okay, and that was your mitzvah Mazel Tov on doing number 5. To sponsor future mitzvah, 36-100 for the gold. See you tomorrow.